Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football mock draft. Today we're doing a 12-team half PPR mock draft with two quarterbacks. So the roster is two quarterbacks, two running backs, three wideouts, tight end flex, no kicker in defense, and eight bench spots. So this video was requested by Huntman. Now his comment was quite confusing because at the beginning he said it's three wide receivers, and at the end he said it was two wide receivers. So I just went with three wide receivers because I don't know why you'd have eight bench spots if you didn't have three wide receivers. I don't even know why you have eight bench spots in general. It should only be seven. But with that being said, this was requested by Huntman284. Now, if you guys want to dominate your fantasy football league, please click that subscribe button down below because I'm going to help you guys do that. I'm going to help you guys dominate during the draft, and then you're going to come back during the regular season. I'm going to help you all throughout the regular season. Then you're going to make the playoffs week 15, 16, or week 14, 15, and 16, and then you're going to dominate and get that fantasy football championship trophy. And if you don't already have a fantasy football championship trophy, check out my sponsor, fantasybros.com. Link in the description. Code Notorious at checkout gets you 5% off. So let's get right into this draft right here. So we're the first pick. Pretty easy to me. We just go Barkley. We're not going a top quarterback here. I don't believe we could reach for Mahomes there at the first pick. I believe we would end up regretting it. If we were the fourth pick of the draft or the fifth pick, I'd go ahead and pull on Mahomes. But right here, I would not. So after we went with Barkley, CMC came with the board, followed by AK, Mahomes, DJ, Zeke, D-Hop, Lev Bell, Devontae Adams, James Conner, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Thomas, Joe Mixon, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Dalvin Cook, Andrew Luck, Mike Evans. Four quarterbacks already off the board. Typically would not be Luck, and it would probably have been let's see, probably would have been Baker or Matt Ryan there. So you have to keep that in mind because of Luck's calf strain. That probably wouldn't have happened, but this hasn't updated their two quarterback rankings in a while because Sleeper don't give no fucks about two quarterbacks. I'm not sponsored by them. I love this platform. If you want to sponsor me, Sleeper, hit me up, you know what I'm saying? But right now, did this type of league where you have to start three wide receivers, likely, a tight end, and or three wide receivers and two quarterbacks, you just don't draft a fucking tight end until later. It's just useless. So right here, we are just going to go likely with probably just a quarterback and then a wide out here because there's three wide outs. So we would go with Baker Mayfield, best quarterback on the board, feeling dangerous there. And then we would go with wide receiver, best wide receiver available. The one with the least amount of question marks, AB. There's big question marks with him. He's a huge question mark from the fact that he has those fucked up feet because of that cryotherapy, and then he's fucked up with his helmet. He wants to use an old helmet. I'm AB. I'm a baby back bitch. I'm a cry baby. Wham wham wham. Fuck you, AB. All right, we ain't drafting you. We're gonna go with Adam Thielen, a lot more safer. After with Adam Thielen, Travis Kelsey came out the board, followed by Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, Damian Williams, Keenan Allen, Matty Ice, Antonio Brown, Aaron Jones, George Kittle, Kerryon Johnson, Marlon Mack, Devontae Freeman, Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, T.Y. Hilton, Zach Ertz, Amari Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Stephon Diggs, Cam Newton, Hunter Henry, or Derrick Henry, and then Drew Brees. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 quarterbacks already off the board. One team already has two. So the quarterbacks are going to go fast. So we're likely going to have to snag our second quarterback here in the fifth round since it's a 12-team league. Right here, I would probably, since it's a three wide receiver league, just go with wide receiver here and go with the best one available. In my opinion, that's Robert Woods. I like him slightly more than Cooks, and Edelman's kind of injury prone, so I'd much rather just go with Woods here. I think Woods is going to be great on the Rams. I think Cooks is going to be great on the Rams. It's really a pick 'em here. You can just pick whichever one you want, and you probably end up happy with both of them. I personally think Woods will be slightly better when push comes to shove. So now we are going to get our other quarterback because we have to wait about 9,000 picks until we pick again, and a bunch of quarterbacks will go before we get to go again. So we're just secure. We already got Baker, who's pretty safe in my opinion. We're just gonna. You could go with safe and risk, which is what I typically do. So you go with the safe Baker and then go risky on Winston or Murray. Winston slightly less risky than Murray. Or you go with Mr. Jared Goff, Mr. Safety, and we already have Robert Woods, so we're going to pair him with Goff. So I have to go with Mr. Jared Goff, jacking off, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go with Kyler Murray, Julian Edelman, David Montgomery, Brandon Cooks, Famous Jameis, Chris Carson, Kenny Galladay, Mark Ingram, AJ Green, Big Ben, Cooper Kupp, Philip Lindsay, DJ Moore, Lamar Jackson, Mitch Trubisky, Chris Godwin, OJ Howard, Philip Rivers, Dak Prescott, Calvin Ridley, Kirk Cousins, and Sony Michel. So if we didn't go 2 quarterbacks here, we would have been pretty fucked here because we would be stuck with a guy like Brady or Allen. No bueno. We would not do that. So in this type of league, you have to pull the trigger and get 3 quarterbacks because you have to start 2 every single week. So you're gonna need one to play eventually. So I think we would probably just go 3 early and just hope and pray that the rest of our team ends up good. So we'll go with a running back or a wide receiver here. First, I'd probably just fill out my second running back slot because running backs are going to get very, very risky pretty soon. And I know even though it's a 3 wide receiver league, I can get some wide receivers that are solid later. So I'll go with James White for that PPR upside. It's half PPR, but he's pretty much he's just a pass catching back. He's gonna run the ball 4 or 5 times a game, catch the ball 6, 7 times every game. Maybe not actually catch the ball like 5 times every game. Get your 40 yards, potentially score you a touchdown, and be pretty solid. He was a top 10 running back last year. So we're gonna go with the unorthodox strategy of getting 3 quarterbacks early. You want to make sure they all have different buys. Baker 7, Jared Goff 9. And now we are going to get Josh Allen with bye 6. So after we went with Josh Allen, Keenan Allen came out the board. Keenan Allen, Kenyon Drake, I can't read. Followed by Tyler Lockett, Evan Ingram, Tevin Coleman, Mike Williams, Jarvis Landry, Jimmy Guap, Hunter Henry, Darius Geis, Tyler Boyd, Tom Brady, Lamar Miller, Tariq Cohen, A.J. Brown, Alshon Jeffrey, Miles Sanders, Will Fuller, Jared Cook, Allen Robinson, Robbie Anderson, Darrell Henderson, and Dante Pettis. So right here, we'll go with one wide receiver. Let's see. Who's on the board still? Right here, we will go with Mr. Sammy Watkins. Now, actually, the safest pick here is D.D. Westbrook. It's kind of a reach down, but not really a reach because D.D. Westbrook looked great. I believe he looked great tonight with Foles. Finds an end zone against the Dolphins. He looks amazing. I told all of y'all, get D.D. Westbrook. He's great. He's going to be great. Nick Foles and him will develop a connection. Nick Foles loves that flex. Not the flex, the slot. So we're going to go D.D. Westbrook here. After with D.D. Westbrook, now we got to fill out our flex slot. We wait for tight end because we need to fill out a bunch of running backs and wide receivers. So I'm going to go with one more running back here because it's really going to thin out back here in the 10th round. So I'm going to go with Latavius Murray here because Rashad Penny, his value is kind of falling. He is not standing out in preseason. He is just, it seems like it's really just the Chris Carson show, and Penny's going to be on the back, watching, looking in from afar. So I'd happily go with Latavius Murray here. Now, he's the running back 2 on New Orleans, but he's a flex option every single week because he's going to be getting those touches every single game. He'll be getting 10 touches, 11 touches. He'll probably catch a pass, go for like 9, 10 yards, 11 yards with that pass, and be pretty solid overall. So I like Latavius Murray. If Alvin Kamara was to go down, Latavius Murray is a top 10 back in my eyes. So we're going to go with Latavius here. After we went with Latavius, Christian Kirk came out the board, followed by Big Vance McDonald, Sammy Watkins, Matthew Stafford, Sterling Shepard, Rashad Penny, Austin Eckler, DC, Corey Davis, Jordan Howard, Rolls-Royce Freeman, Eric Ebron, Larry Fitzgerald, Marvin Jones, Jaws, Hunt, Ronald Jones, Andy Isabella, David Njoku, N'Keal Harry, Emmanuel Sanders, Cortland Sutton. So now it's time to keep snagging some wide receivers here because this is a 3 wide receiver league and we need that wide receiver depth. So here we'd go with Geronimo Allison or MVS, whichever one you prefer on the team. Personally, I don't really give a fuck. I think they're both going to finish around right near each other. But I actually kind of like the value in Curtis Samuel slightly better, actually, because I think Curtis Samuel could finish higher. Now, if Cam Newton gets healthy after he hurt his knee, or not his knee, he hurt his leg today. He's in a walking boot, today as I'm recording the video. And I think that Curtis Samuel will be the wide receiver 2 on the team, potentially become the wide receiver 1 over DJ Moore. So I love his value late in the draft. So after we went with Curtis Samuel, now we can either snag a tight end, which we're not going to do. We're just going to wait. And we'll just get another wide out here, and we'll go with either Geronimo or MVS. Like I said, I think MVS will probably finish higher. He's the outside the numbers guy. Aaron Rodgers loves targeting outside the numbers, but everyone's all on MVS. So maybe you just fade and you go with Geronimo Allison, but I'd go with MVS here because personally I think he'll be slightly better. But at the end of the day, it's going to be pretty similar numbers for both of these Green Bay wideouts. So after moving with MVS, LaShawn McCoy came out the board, followed by Austin Hooper, Geronimo Allison, AP. Like I said, they go near each other. AP, Metcalf, Carlos Hyde, James Washington, Jalen Samuels, Devin Singletary, Kiki Cootie, Sam Darnold, Peyton Barber, Tony Pollard, Josh Gordon, Flash Gordon, Savior of the Universe. Typically goes a lot higher than that. Dante Foreman, Duke Johnson, Golden Tate, Hakeem Butler, TJ Hawkinson, Kalen Balaj, Justin Jackson, Dante Moncrief. And now it is time to continue on the parade of getting more wideouts here, or maybe one running back and and then another wideout. So right here, the best wideout still available. In my opinion, this is a 3 wide receiver league. You could be starting 4 wide receivers, so I would just load up on a bunch of wide receivers, like I said. So we're gonna go with Mr. Let's see, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Am I legally blind? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He's all the way at the top. I am blind. It is Mr. Deshaun Jackson. Now, Deshaun Jackson and Carson Wentz should be able to develop a solid connection. Deshaun Jackson is fast as fuck. They should be able to get that connection together. Alshon Jeffrey can't do it all. Deshaun Jackson will be a help. He'll have some games where he's just irrelevant, but he will have a lot of amazing games too. So I like Deshaun Jackson's value here. And then we're going to go with one more running back and snag Mr. Matt Breida, running back, San Francisco. I think that he will be the RB1 on the team because, Jerick McKinnon is dealing with a injury right now. He's on the PUP, the PUP, physically unable to perform. So we like Matt Breida here. He's physically unable to perform like your fucking grandfather in the bedroom. So after we went with Matt Breida, Anthony Miller came out the board, followed by Darwin Thompson, Greg Olsen, Devin Funchess, Damian Harris, Delaney Walker, Malcolm Brown, Kyle Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Ito Smith, Mark Andrews, Trey Burton, Deshaun Hamilton, Dion Lewis, Tyrell Williams, Mecole Hardman, Michael Gallup, Dallas Goedert, Kenny Stills, not Galladay, Jamison Crowder, Paris Campbell, Jimmy Graham. So we probably should have pulled the trigger on a tight end slightly earlier. Now what I would do here is just go double tight end here and snag a tight end. 2 tight ends, so we would have to be stuck with one of these guys the first couple of games and then pivot to Herndon. So I would probably just go with Mr. Darren Waller, who has been quite the standout in camp and Hard Knocks. I liked him from the beginning of the season. I think he's probably a solid breakout candidate that goes late, and then we'll match him with Herndon since we have such a deep bench. And we don't need a kicker or a defense. So after Herndon went, Alexander Madison went, followed by Deebo Samuel, Chris Thompson, Justice Hill, Jerick McKinnon, John Brown, Traquan Smith, C.J. Anderson, Noah Fant, Jordan Reed, who now has that concussion potentially, Hollywood Brown, Robert Foster, Mike Davis, Jamal Williams, Marquise Goodwin, Mike Gesicki, T.J. Yeldon, Chase Edmonds, Gio Bernard, Benny Snell, Devontae Parker, Rock Armstead. And when you're all the way back here, the running back pickings are so slim that I don't even know if I want any of these guys, if I'm being completely honest here. There's really no one even hiding back here that I would want, so I'd probably just go a wide receiver here again, unless you are someone who likes to handcuff a running back you don't even have and go with a Jalen Richard. But we already have 1, 2. We already got 4 running backs, so it's fine. We can just load up on 2 more wideouts. We'll go with some high upside plays back here. Now, Albert Wilson is probably the most high upside back here because he has that potential to be the wide receiver numero. Where is he? Who was I even talking about? Albert Wilson could be the wide receiver 1 on that team in fantasy football. One of those wide receivers is bound to break out, and it's probably not going to be Parker. It could be Stills or Wilson, so I'm going to go with Wilson because Wilson is fast as fuck. And then we have our final pick, Mr. Irrelevant, and we are going to go with another wide receiver, and we're just going to go with Mr. David Moore, looking like the wide receiver 2 while Mr. DK Metcalf is injured. So after with David Moore, Big Dick Nick came off the board, followed by Andy Dalton, Mariota, Flacco, Hashkins, Fitzpatrick, Eli, Irv Smith Jr., Trey McLaurin, Daniel Jones, and Miles Boykin. So our finishing roster is our two QBs are Baker and Goff. Our two wideouts, our two running backs are Barkley and White. Our three wideouts are Thielen, Woods, Westbrook. Our tight end is Waller. Our flex is Mr. Latavius Murray. Our backup quarterback is Josh Allen, and the rest of our bench is Allen, Samuel, MVS, Jackson, Breida, Herndon, Wilson, David Moore. Thank you guys all for watching. I love each and every one of you. Thank you guys for helping reach almost 700 subscribers. Maybe we're already at 700 when you guys are watching. I love each and every one of you. Have a great goddamn day. Good boy.